and welcome to Action Figure Insider. When I was in New York in February for Toy Fair, we had a great opportunity to go to the DC offices and sit down with George Brewer of DC Direct. And we got to talk about their 10-year anniversary, look back at what they've done over the past 10 years, and what they plan on doing in the next 10. So we've broken this up into 4 parts, and we're going to show you the first part right now. So what do you think that DC Direct has sort of innovated in the industry? What sort of pioneering things would you consider?
Well, I think, and again, I've never been challenged on this, but I do think that we were one of the first ones to do the 6-inch scale. And then when we decided to go into action figures fairly early on, we adopted this 1 inch equals 1 foot kind of methodology, which gave us a sort of, at the time people were still doing a lot of 3 3/4, 4 inch scale figures. And we wanted a larger platform to work on. So I would say that was one of our earliest sort of innovations. I think some of the things that we're doing with functioning props is very different than most people. There's a lot of prop people out there now, or just sort of replica things, but having props that actually function and do something, like the light-up power battery with the little ring, the magnetic ring thing, I think was a real innovation, and it kind of set the bar for what other people try to do. And, and on 1/6 scale, still I think that the kind of fabrication, the level of detail, kind of really pushing it beyond a toy to something that looks more representational is not something that's been done a lot of in the industry. So I would say those are probably the high points.
In looking at the industry coming up in 2008, a lot of people are shrinking. They're going to a 3 3/4 inch scale. Do you anticipate staying in the 6-inch scale?
We're fully committed to that sort of 6.5 inch scale at this point. Does it mean that we would reevaluate it at some point? We certainly have talked about it, and we've looked at it. We actually developed some prototypes of about a 4-inch scale to see how well we could do the artist-centric stick at the smaller scale. And when done right, it actually can look really good. But at this point, we're sticking with the 6-inch scale, because we have collectors who have been with us from the beginning. We'd hate to walk away from those guys and all their collections at this point.
Right. What do you think has taken the longest to learn in product development?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say anticipating exactly what the fans want and need, because it can be a challenge. You think you're giving them something they want, and sometimes you'll get these sort of comments out of left field. Sometimes they'll love stuff that you sort of under-anticipated. But it's really, with action figures, everyone is sort of a new thing because each artistic style is unique and different, so it has its own set of challenges, which you think you've kind of have figured out, and then you'll hit the next challenge, Kirby, It's a whole different mindset,
Right.
And in props, everyone is new, everyone is different, everyone has this new challenge. So just when you think you have the right vendors and the right techniques and the right approach, you'll get into a Dr. Fate helmet, which, takes 2 years to get produced because you want to make it right, you want the quality to be there, and it's just not quite coming together the way you want it to. Again, it's got to be right before it gets done. So it's sort of an odd thing, but I never would have thought that would have taken us as long as it has when we started. So it's just sort of this odd, sort of unknowable things.
Can you think of a product that you were surprised at how well it did, how well it was received in the market?
Well, the first Green Lantern power battery, I think, exceeded expectations. It blew out really quickly. I had high hopes for Jim Fletcher's, our design director's sort of love child of the Amy Comey girls. I knew it would do well because I thought it was a good-looking, consistent, solid execution, but it's done far better than I would have thought initially. And then the 1/6 scale, again, we always had high hopes, but you never know. Building a new platform is really hard in this market, both to get the retailers to buy into it and get the consumers to kind of come along. We've found that you sort of get the inverse problem like with Batman Black and Whites. It took people a while to get into it. Now they're clamoring for the old ones because the edition runs are fairly low. And, so you're like, wow, okay, that works. And now you have to figure out a way to go back and service all those people. So it can be a good challenge.
Have you found there's a need to show that DC Direct is buying into a line, to show a lot of product in order to get people to jump on board?
I think that doesn't hurt, and it's something we're going to be more aggressive about going forward to try to really communicate. You'd play that delicate dance, our publicity guy sitting in the corner starting to twitch, but, how far out you want to, kind of relay your plans, because either A, you're going to get people saying, when you tell them, okay, we're doing this for the next 6 months, the fans go, that's it? That means I'm not getting what I really want for that much longer, so you want to sort of kind of sustain some of the mystery. But on the other hand, they'll and it's, I think, a fair cop to say, well, why should I start buying this new team of X if it's going to take me 4 years to get the whole team? So by showing a commitment that you're doing more of them more quickly, if that's your plan, then I think they'll be more likely to jump in. So I do think that that helps.